Find the quotient. 1/4 divided by 3/5. All you need to do is, we know that we cannot divide fractions. So we need to keep it, switch it, flip it. So we keep our first fraction, we flip our division to multiplication, and we flip our second fraction to 5/3. That is called a reciprocal when we flip it. Now you can go ahead and you can multiply straight across. So we're doing 1 times 5 over 4 times 3. And you will have your answer. A factory worker can make 14 products in 45 minutes. We have 14 products, 45 minutes. What is the worker's unit rate? We have 14 products, 45 minutes. Answer to the nearest thousandth and without units. So we want to know the unit rate. 14 products in 45 minutes. So unit rate means in how many products can we make in 1 minute. So we're finding how many products in 1 minute. How do we go from 45 to 1? So obviously we need to divide by 45. So up here we're dividing by 45. We are answering to the nearest thousandth. So when we're answering to the nearest thousandth, that is, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. That's 3 places after the decimal point. So when you do 14 divided by 45, you are stopping after 3 places after the decimal point. You are answering without units. So you don't put products, you just put your number. Write an equivalent expression for 36x plus 12. This is where we're doing 36x plus 12. This is where we need to find our GCF, our greatest common factor. And we are pulling it out. We're dividing it by our GCF. So we do our T-charts for 36 and our T-chart for 12. And whatever our greatest common factor is what they divide them by. So for 36, we have 1 and 36. We have 2 and what is 36 divided by 2? 36 divided by 2 is 18. 3 and 36. We know that 36 divided by 3 is 12. 4 and 36. We know that 4 and 36. Oops. Sorry about that. 4 divided by 36. Oops, still on that. Divided by 36 is 9. Can 5 go into 36? No, it cannot. Can 6 go into 36? Yes, it can. 6 and 6. So our 6's repeat. That is when we know we stop. Now we need to find all of our factors of 12. We know 1 and 12. 2. Can 2 go into 12? Yes. 2 times 6 is 12. 3. Can 3 go into 12? Yes, we know 3 times 4 is 12. Our next number would be 4. We already have a 4. So we're not going to do a 4. That tells us to stop. Here are all of our factors. We're going to start with our smallest, which is our 12. Do we see a 12 in our 36? We do. We have a 12 and a 12. So we are going to divide our 36 and our 12 by 12. So our 12 is going to be on the outside of the parenthesis, and you need to divide the 36x by 12, and you need to divide the 12 by 12 to get the correct answer. Which number line represents the inequality? Y is less than 3. That means y is smaller. First of all, what kind of circle, open or closed, represents less than? And then we need to determine which way is our line going to go if y is smaller. Pick the correct option. A small square is located inside a large square. The length of the smaller square is 7 centimeters. So the smaller square is 7. So our length here is 7. And the length of the larger square is 12. Larger, 12. This one's, oops, sorry about that. This one is 12. Find the area of the section outside the small square, but inside the larger square. Find the area of the section outside the small square, but inside the larger square. Answer without units. Okay. So we know that the larger square, it's a square, so your length is going to be the same as the height. So your larger square equals, they're the same, is going to be 12 times 12. We know that 12 times 12 is 144. The smaller, and it's a square, so the length and the height are the same, is 7 times 7, which is 49. We only want the area of the section outside the small square. Okay, so you need to take 144 minus 49 to get the area of the section outside the small square, but inside the large square. So we're finding this area right here, and that's how you would do that. Andrea needs a box that has a volume is a key word here, of 90 cubic inches. What might the measurements of her box be? It's a box. So box tells me that the length times the width times the height are all the same. Okay? Or they could be different. All we know is that it has to equal 90. So 90 has to equal your length times your width times your height. So you're going to plug in this for your length times your width times your height. If you get 90, you're going to check that box. If you don't get 90, don't check it. Then you're going to plug in this for your length times your width times your height. When you solve that, if you get 90, check your box. If you don't get 90, don't check it. Then you're going to plug in this for your length times your width times your height. If you get 90, you're going to check your box. If you don't get 90, do not check your box. Finally, you're going to plug in this for 90. If you get, or for your length times your width times your height. If you get 90, you're going to check your box. If you don't get 90, don't check it. I can tell you for this one, you have 90 here times 1. Ooh, you're on a roll. But then you times it by 10. You're definitely not going to get 90. So you're probably not going to check that box. But look at here. You're going to check how many? 2 boxes. So make sure on this one, you have 2 boxes checked. Find the surface area. Answer without units. Okay, so you are going to have 2 triangles here. So we know that the area of a triangle is your base times your height divided by 2. After you find that, you're going to times it by 2. So after you find this right here, you're going to times that by 2 because there's 1 in the front and then there's 1 way back here. And then you're going to find this right here, this rectangle. And we know that the area of this rectangle is going to be your base times your height. And once you find that base times its height, you are going to times that by 3. There will be 3 of them because you have 2 sides and then 1 on the bottom. So after you find that, there's 3 of them. And finally, you will add this plus this. You will add them together to get the surface area. Remember, answer without units. So you will not put inches squared. You will only put your number. It is Jamie's birthday, and her mom just bought her an Xbox. She is trying to find the surface area. There's a good keyword, surface area, of the box. Ooh, it's a box. So she can determine how much wrapping paper to use. So it's a box. So we know that the surface area of a box, okay? The box is 24 inches long. So our length is 24. 12 inches wide. Our width is 12. And 10 inches high. Our height equals 10. What is the surface area of Jamie's new Xbox? Answer without units. All right, so we need to do 2 times our length times our width plus 2 times our length times our, oops, sorry about that, our height plus 2 times our width times our height. Okay, so all you have to do is plug in your L, your W, your L, your H. your W, your H, and then add them all together, and you will get your surface area. But this is the kicker, without units. Do not answer it with units. Only put the number.